Hey everyone, it's Anna. Welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for visiting. I'm excited to be joining you this morning for the release of the SweetMissDaisy Designs products for the month of April 2025. There are 5 new products for this month's release and I'm excited to share them with you. I have them all here today and then I also have some samples to share with you as well. So let's go ahead and get started. So the SweetMissDaisy shop website is sweetmissdaisy.etsy.com, and there will be a link down in the description box below, and that's where you can find all the Sweet Miss Daisy products. And so let's go ahead and get started on the new products for April. First up is this 4x4 stamp set called Gigi, and I drew this after one of the kitties we had here at the farm. Her name was Girly Girl and we called her Gigi for short. But this is after her, drawn with her for inspiration. There are 2 little bees, left and right facing bees. There's a little bee trail that you can use as a stamp. And then there's 3 sentiments in the set. Thanks for being you. So many thoughtful things you do. I'm glad I've got a friend like you. And then this one down here is hi. So I think this set is real cute. And of course, right? Everything I think is so cute. This next set is called Sisters and Friends, and I wanted a set that I could use for all the girls in my life. And so Sisters and Friends was drawn with that, or all of those girls in mind. So here we have 2, this is a 4x5 stamp set too, by the way, which is most of the time the size of my sets. So here we have this cute little gal. She's got a couple of daisies in her jumper pocket. She's got a sweet little heart on her pantaloons. And she has cute little stripy socks, of course, which you know I love. And then there's this girl here. She's holding a bunny that has a cute little dress on and has little tiny boots on. And then her little jumper has some embroidered flowers on the bottom. And of course, she's got the little pantaloons that stick out and her little boots too. Then there is this cute little heart that has a bow on the right-hand side, a little bit of stitching detail. And of course, then there's an individual flower as well. And then the sentiments in this set are love you, sisters, friends, and then I'm so glad we're, and you could say friends or sisters. And then of course you could say friends or sisters with this sentiment as well. And it says different flowers from the same garden. So I think that one's real sweet. But that is the Sisters and Friends set, and I love this one, and there's been some super cute samples made by the design team members. So you'll want to check out their Instagram and or blogs below. They'll also be posting in various different Facebook groups too, so you'll probably see some samples there. But check out the links below for the design team members. They've done a really great job of creating cards. And then the third stamp set that I'm releasing this month is this one. It's called Small Backgrounds. And there are 4 separate stamps in this particular set. There is this one, which is a tiny dots image, and it's similar to the dots that I used in the Worn Dots paper collection. If you have that, it's just a smidge smaller than the dots in that paper. Then there's this sweet little daisy, tossed daisy background stamp. There is a little swirl with some polka dots, and then there's a star pattern as well. When I designed these, I designed them so that you could stamp them in a row, side by side or top to bottom, and then the image will line up and make it a repeating pattern. So if you stamp this image once and then you want to stamp it again, you'll be able to line up this left side so that it matches in here perfectly with the right-hand side and makes a repeating pattern. And same thing with the swirls, and same thing with the stars. The stars is a repeating pattern this direction as opposed to this direction, which I suppose you could probably do it that way too. But I designed it so that when you stamp it once and you move it over to stamp again, these 2 stars fit in really nicely in these 2 spaces right here. So you can stamp it over and over and over again and make a repeating pattern. So there is that. So those are the 3 new stamp sets for the month. And then I also have two new paper collections that are releasing this month. The first one is Quilted Grunge Brights, and you might think this is familiar if you have one of my Impression Obsession collections that I released, which was called Quilted Grunge. This one is the same background design and similar grunge style, but the colors of this particular paper collection are much brighter. The previous ones were more fall colors. So this is a fun collection, and I'll flip through it here for you in a moment. The second collection I'm releasing this month is called Buzz, and this was one that I released with Impression Obsession as well, but it was one of my favorites and one of your favorites too, so I brought it back for this month to go along with Gigi and the theme of the bees. So those are the two paper collections. Let's take a quick flip through. Set those off to the side. So let's take a quick flip through of the paper here. I've got the Buzz collection up first, and I have used some of these, so there might be some missing from my particular collection here. But you get 4 of each pattern, and I love this print. Isn't that cute? I love it. And this bee actually inspired the bee that is on my logo. You can see the little bee here was heavily inspired by this particular paper collection. You'll actually see it on this particular sheet here. So that's fun. And then the back side of the green bees is this fun yellow bee. I love this particular sheet. It's such a really pretty color of yellow. So there's that sheet. And then you get 4 sheets of the pink honeycomb. And the back of it has these cute little tossed bees and on a gray gingham. And then there is the denim blue colored bee trails. And I used a piece of this on a sample card. And then on the back side of this is a tossed daisy and bee pattern on a peach colored honeycomb. Then there's the yellow bees, the yellow honeycomb bee pattern. And on the back of that sheet is this really pretty soft blue with bigger bee trails. And then there is this fun green design, which is really, really swirly bee trails. And you can see the distressing on these particular sheets as well. And the back side of that one is a really cute heart pattern with a pale green, like a sage green background. And there's little swirls in between the hearts. And then the last sheet is the all these bees in a row. And the back of it is the yellow bees with that really pretty honey yellow again. So I love this collection, and it was very popular before, and I know there were some people who once it sold out at Impression Obsession, they were sad that they couldn't either pick it up for the first time or pick up at a spare, so I decided to bring it back for Sweet Miss Daisy. So there's the Buzz collection, and let's also take a look at the Quilted Grunge Brights collection, which I think is so pretty. These colors are just ripe for late spring and summer. Aren't they pretty? So again, you get 4 sheets, and I've probably used some out of here, so there might be some missing. But here is this really pretty red color, and the back of it is this gorgeous olive green. And you can really see the distressing on this one. So fun. And then we have, let's see, more of a strawberry red, and that's such a pretty color as well. And it almost looks like a batik, if you're familiar with that. Was a wax resist fabric dyeing process where you draw on fabric with wax or paraffin, and then you dye the fabric, and then you iron out the wax, and it leaves white where the wax was, and it resists the dye. So these kind of look like a batik also, which I think is fun. So there's that strawberry red, and then the back is this gorgeous aqua. This color is delicious. I love it. And then there's this really pretty pink. Isn't that nice? I love that particular color. And the back of it is this gorgeous blue. Look at that blue. Love that. Then we have a really pretty orange. And the back of the orange is a gorgeous purple. And then we have a sunny yellow. I love this. This actually is more of a honey yellow, not a sun yellow, but a honey yellow. think it's so pretty. And the back of that one is a really pale brown, almost a taupey brown. And then we have this gorgeous color. It's almost a chartreuse green, a little on the olive side. And then the back of that one is this gorgeous brown. So I love this collection. It's one of my favorites, and I was happy to be able to bring it back for Sweet Miss Daisy in a brighter color palette. So that is Quilted Grunge Brights. So let me set this off to the side. And let's take a look at some samples using these new fun products. So first up, let's see, what do I want to start with? I think I started with Gigi, so I'll start with Gigi's cards. Yeah. So I think this little kitty is so fun, and I love these the echinacea or daisy flowers. You can paint them like Gloriosa daisies. You can paint them like Shasta daisies. You can paint them like pink echinacea. You could paint them like all different kinds of things. But here you can see that I chose to paint them yellow ochre, and I stamped both of the bees on this particular project and used the bee trail to add a little bit of trail here behind this bee, and then I turned it over and used it on this bee as well. The kitty is just watercolored, stamped on watercolor paper and painted with watercolor paints. And then of course I added the high sentiment down here below. This is paper from the Buzz collection. It's that denim colored blue bee trail. And then this is the star pattern from the small backgrounds set. And you can see how nice that creates a repeating pattern when you stamp it in a row. So that's fun. And then I did finish out most of the insides of my cards for you. So this one uses that sentiment from the Gigi stamp set that says, so many thoughtful things you do. I'm glad I've got a friend like you. And I stamped one of the little bees in the bee trail, colored it with colored pencil. So I think that's cute. And for the stamping, I used brown ink instead of black. And then on the back, I just stamped one of my the stamps that I use all the time on the back of my cards. So there's my first Gigi card. Isn't it cute? And then I have this one, which I don't know. I can't even decide which one's my favorite. I love all three of them. So this one I decided to paint the flowers purple, and I added just one bee. And of course it's watercolored as well. It's stamped on watercolor paper and painted. And then this little kitty is painted like the little kitty that we had here. His name was Newman, and he has since passed away, and actually Gigi has as well. But they were here at the house when we moved into this particular house. So many thoughtful things you do. I'm glad I've got a friend like you. Isn't it cute? And then this paper here is from the Quilted Grunge Brights collection. And I used that really pretty olive green. And it matched the leaves in my flowers, of course. So there's that particular card. And then on the inside, I stamped Thanks for Being You. And that is also from the Gigi set. And I stamped one of the little bees here and didn't color it in, but I probably should. And then on the back, I did that same stamp that I've always used. And then I added the extra strip of paper here to the back as well. So there's my second Gigi card. And then my third Gigi card, I painted the flowers yellow again to go with this really pretty yellow bee paper in the background, which is from the Buzz collection. And of course, Gigi is stamped on watercolor paper and painted. And I love how this particular set really is just a one and done. It has great sentiments in it, but really the image just is so easy to use. You stamp it and it's so easy to make just that one image into a card. So I really enjoy that. And then on the inside of this one, I left it blank apparently, and the back as well. So I'll have to finish that off before I mail this one out. But this one I also added a little twine bow to, so I think that's really cute as well. So those are the three Gigi cards that I've made. And now let's take a look at the Sisters and Friends set, and I have several cards here. So first up is this cute gal. I stamped her on watercolor paper and painted her in. I also used some of the sentiments down here below. I'm so glad we're friends. It's kind of hard to see on this dark paper, but it's down there. And then I also used the Correspondence Bits set, which released, was it last month, I think? I used this particular set on a lot of my cards today, so that is a good one to pull out and have handy. And so you can see the sweet letter from Grandpa here in the background and some of the postage marks here as well. And then I also used the letter from Grandpa here in the background, just really, really faintly, and then stamped some postage marks on the watercolor panel as well. I added some cotton lace here and a sweet little button for my friend Mary. So that is that card. And that one doesn't have anything inside or on the back yet. And then the other girl in the set is this gal, and she has a couple of flowers in her pocket on her apron, but then there's also that individual flower that comes in the set, so I stamped it in her hand, and she is stamped on watercolor paper and painted as well. I also used the small backgrounds on this particular card. This the dots here are the dot background, so you can see a little bit up here under the button, and you can see a little bit here and down here. So that is the dots. This stamp here. And so it adds just a little bit of something extra to your backgrounds. And then this little swirl stamp, you can see how nice it creates a repeating pattern as well. That is the swirl stamp from the small backgrounds collection. And then I also used some stamps from the correspondence bits set as well. There's the number 20. Here's one of the postage marks. And then here is this little received April 25th, 1928, which is also in the set. It's up here at the top. So isn't she cute? I love her. A little bit of cotton lace on the side, of course, and another one of the buttons from my friend Mary. This inside is blank yet, and the back has just that. So there is that sweet gal. And then here is another card made with the bunny, the gal that's holding a bunny. And I stamped her on watercolor paper, and I stamped the love you sentiment and the heart from the Sisters and Friends set and just painted her in. And I think she's so cute. I love her little bunny in the green dress. And then here down the side, I stamped the little tossed daisies background stamp. I don't know if you can see it very well, but you can hopefully see that there's little daisies stamped down the edge of that paper there. And that, of course, is the tossed daisy stamp from the small backgrounds set. So a really versatile set, and I think it's one that I'll have out on my desk to use on so many projects because I think it's just one for all year round. And then I tucked just a small piece of that cotton lace there along the side of the watercolor paper and stamped the little flower on the back with my name. And I think the inside's blank. Oh, nope. I stamped the flowers again. So that's real cute. So there's that card. And then the last sample I have to share with you today is also using the Sisters and Friends set. And I added them on the same card, the two girls on the same card. And what you can do is you can really easily just stamp one of the girls and then mask off her hand and the corner of her dress. And then you can stamp the other girl and make it so they're holding hands. And you can either stamp, you know, so that the taller girl has her hand showing, or you can show it, stamp it so the shorter girl has her hand showing. And you just have to, you know, mask off a portion of whichever girl's dress needs to fall behind. But it's super easy to do and real easy to combine them onto a single card. And I think it's real cute with both of them on here. So here I've also stamped some of the correspondence bits, postage marks. I stamped some down here as well on the background paper, and then I stamped a little bit of it up here as well. I added, of course, my favorite cotton lace to the side. This particular paper is from, isn't that such a pretty color blue? That paper is from the Boho Garden collection, if you picked that one up last month. So I think this card is real cute. And they're stamped, of course, on watercolor paper and painted. And then I did add some additional details to both of their jumpers with colored pencil. So you can see the little polka dots on her jumper. I added those after I had it watercolored. I added those with colored pencil. And then same on her peach jumper. I painted it peach, and then I added just some lines to give it a little bit of texture. I added that with colored pencil. So here is the inside of the card. I'm so glad we're sisters. Or you could stamp I'm so glad we're friends here, of course. And I added the extra bit of paper there. And then I added some paper here on the back too, because I just couldn't let it go to waste. And then stamped my little handmade by stamp. So I think this card is so cute. I just love these two gals together. I think they're adorable. So one thing I also wanted to mention, the stars that are in the small backgrounds, if they look familiar to you, they are very similar to the star banner that is in Charming, the Snowman set. So this is a great background to use for some of your winter cards as well. So it truly is a set that can be used all year round, even with your winter cards and the Charming Snowman set. And then I also wanted to mention, in addition to the bumblebees for Gigi, you could also pull out your potted bunny stamp, and you could use the two butterflies as well if you wanted butterflies on your card instead of bees. And then of course the little bee trail could be used as a butterfly trail, and you could use it with your Gigi stamps, of course, but you could also pull this little trail stamp out and use it with your potted bunny set. So a nice way to kind of mix and mingle some of the stamps that you might have in your stash. So those are the products I have to share with you for the month of April. I am super excited to be sharing these with you. I hope you love them as much as I do. And like I said, the designers made some really fun cards, so please check out their links down below in the description box. I also wanted to mention too, in time for Easter, I did restock the Raggedy Bunny notepads. So if you're wanting to get that for some Easter gifts, I do have these in stock again. And then I also restocked the chicken yard as well. So I do have these two notepads in stock again for you for Easter. So that's what I have to share with you today, and thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you loved the inspiration, and I'm so excited to see what you might make with SweetMissDaisy Designs products. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you again very soon. Bye!